All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Mara again. Thank you to those who have subscribed and liked. This is only my second video, so this has taken me a while to put together, but I decided to show you my March plan with me. So as you can see here, I am showing you the markers that I used. They are the Archer and Olive calligraph, and they are in the colors orange, yellow, toucan orange, moss green, and then the Tombow is the Tombow 192. The two lighter colors don't have names because it was before Archer and Olive put names on them. And then for my black lines, man, I am just zooming through this. Okay, so for the black lines, I used the Staedtler pigment liner in 0.05, 0.03, and 0.01. So as you saw before I switched the pages, I already had my cover page, my monthly, and then my sleep and mood tracker pretty much all done. And now we are on to my habit tracker. So I have been doing this habit tracker for at least the last year or so. I think I've done some type of this version for years. I've been bullet journaling since 2017 or 2016, where I have the habits along the left side and then the dates and the day of the week up along the top. I'm using the 0.5 for all of my outlines, and then I'll use the 0.3 for any of like the bigger lettering that I wanted to do, and then the 0.01 for all of the small details. I also like to break up my habit tracker by weeks, as you can see with those extra lines going down. It's just a good way for me to see and be able to differentiate between the different weeks. My weeks in my mind go from Sunday to Monday. I'm sorry, Sunday to Saturday. Man, Sunday to Monday would be a short week. But I go Sunday to Saturday just because that's how my work goes. So to be able to figure out what day it is and what week it is, I like to differentiate between them. So now I am putting in the dates, as you can see, and I am using the 0.1 Staedtler pigment liner. These are probably my favorite black liner pens. They don't really bleed with the markers that I use, and I find that the tips don't break as much as the Sigma micron pens. I've used both, but these ones I prefer. So now I'm going to go in with my Tombow, and that's in the 192, and I'm going to do some calligraphy, and I'm just going to write habit. I love doing calligraphy, and with the Tombow dual brush pens and then also the Archer and Olive calligraph pens, it just really makes it easy to do that. And then I'm going in with my moss green marker by Archer and Olive just to add a little bit of depth. I think outside of the March above the calendar and the March on my weekly spreads that you'll see in a little bit, this is the only time that I do this part of it. But I'm just darkening the bottom parts, and then I believe I go in with my Tombow again just to better shade the dark green to the lighter green. I am also just noticing that my candle blew out as soon as I lit it, so that's fun. Yeah, I'll go in and fill in my habits that I want to track once we get a little bit closer to the month. I like to see what I accomplished and didn't accomplish in the previous month and then add those in. And now I'm erasing. I like to do everything in pencil first just because I do tend to mess up. for my February spread, I wrote January as the month on all of my weeklies, so I had to go back and fix that. And that little cool thing that you just saw was my desk vacuum. I got that from Amazon, and I got the recommendation from Greater Good on Instagram. She doodles and does a lot of sign lettering, and I really enjoy her videos. I went back to the original page just to kind of see how I drew the lemons, and I'm just going to quickly doodle some lemons and then color it, just because I felt like this page could use a little bit more than what it already is. And once we get done, I like to once I'm filling out my habit tracker, I like to use a different color pen that I use throughout the week to fill in the dots. And right there, I couldn't remember which side of the lemon I put the leaves on, so I'm going back and I'm checking. And now I'm going in with my yellow calligraph pens. I am starting out with, I believe, the orange yellow, and I'm just filling that in, giving it a little bit of texture just because that's the style that I want to go for. And then I'm going in with the darker color, which I believe is the toucan orange, just to add a little bit of depth. And then with the outs, or the slices of lemons, I'm going in and I'm coloring the rind, and then I'm coloring the inside parts of the lemon. I don't know what that's called. And then I'll go in with the darker orange and just add a little bit of texture again. I find that the texture kind of helps make it look more like an actual lemon. Oh, and I used a white Posca marker to add some cool little highlights to make it look a little shiny. So that I add a couple of times, and then going in with my lighter green Tombow and then my darker green calligraph. And that's my habit tracker. Now on to my financial tracker. So I use this to track when money is coming out of my bank accounts. I get paid weekly, which is really nice, bill pay wise, because if it's a larger payment like my rent or my car payment, I just take a little bit from each of my paychecks and I save it. And then most of my other payments, like bills, are spread throughout the month, but it's just a good way to remember when they are coming out. And most of mine are on auto pay because I do have even with a planner, I do have a bad memory of when I need to pay what, and what is on auto pay. So most of my bills, except for my car payment, because that is the highest payment that I have, is on auto pay. And then I pay my car payment early whenever it gets to the week, so I don't forget. But I'm going in with the 0.5, and then I'll fill in the dates. I'm going to color it first with the lighter orangish peachish color that I used. And there's my vacuum again. And I think I'm going to fill that in and then do the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are the days of the week. Okay, here I'm to the side. I didn't think you could see this, but I am writing out financials so that I do not spell it wrong, because I am a horrible speller. I did not go to school for anything having to do with math or spelling, so I am a horrible speller. My husband will be the one to help our kids whenever we have them with math and English homework. Outside of reading, I do love reading. I'm just not a good speller. So there's financial. I spelled it right. I believe. Oh no, I did do more shading. Okay, cool. I am just so thankful that you all are watching my videos. I've wanted to do this for a long time, and it wasn't until my friend Hannah, who was my first subscriber, hi Hannah, thank you, kind of talked me into doing these, and that she would watch hours of these videos because I would just snapshot her essentially this. So she's the one that really encouraged me to do this. And I am also a perfectionist, so I am trying really, really hard to allow myself to learn that I don't have to be perfect or make these perfect videos right off the bat. I'm allowing myself some time to learn, and man, this is the first time I've used iMovie. I'm realizing that my old Mac from 2012 can just not handle these size files, so I'm going to have to figure something else out. I'm doing iMovie on my iPad right now, so it's working for now, and I'm having fun doing it and showing all of you my journaling. But yeah, that's just a little bit about my journey. I'm not doing this to really, I don't know, get a whole ton of subscribers, but I just really enjoy watching these types of videos, and so I kind of want to join in making them. And I think that sharing ideas and having a community where people can bounce ideas off of everyone is a good thing. So yeah, back to the journal. I am lining up the markers in order of like light to dark, dark to light, so that I can do the date dots for my financial journal or financial tracker. I'm sorry. And then once I get through all of this, then it's going, I really like the effect that all of the little dots have with the gradients. I think that's one of my favorite things about using these markers, is finding like color stories that work well together and a gradient that works really well together. So you'll see in a second the how cool the gradient kind of looks. And then this is kind of like the effect that I'm going for with the habit tracker, with like the gradients of the different colored markers. I have a lot of markers. A lot of mine are the super tips, the Crayola super tips. That's what I started with. And then I became a really big fan of Archer and Olive probably 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. And I have a lot of the acrylograph pens, and I'm really getting into the calligraph pens. I think I prefer the calligraph more than the acrylograph. The acrylograph, for those of you who do not know, are pens with like acrylic paint in them, and I do like them. I just feel like they get gunky really easily, and then they're not as opaque as I want them to. All right, on to the next page. This is going to be my gratitude log. Once again, spelling out gratitude on a side paper so I don't misspell it. But one of the things that I really like to do is look for the good in a day. So even if it was a really rough day at work or a really tough day just in general in my personal life, I always like to try and find one thing in the day that went well, and maybe that's as little as my dog cuddled with me before I went to bed. To me, that is a positive, and it helps trying to kind of see the positive when a lot of stuff in the world is negative. I actually completely forgot that I did all of the shading on these words. I really thought I just did it for that first couple ones. I'm going to do the same gradient with the numbers going down, and if you see me pausing, it's because I am watching a documentary. As I'm doing this, that's one of my favorite things to do, either watch a documentary or listen to an audiobook. The documentary I was watching during this was the Murdoch murders, which was really interesting. I remember hearing about the Alec Murdoch allegedly murdering his son and wife, but I didn't know about all of the other ones. So it's on Netflix. I really recommend it, but I'm going to leave you to watch me color in all of the dots for the numbers. Alright, so I have all of my numbers and little dots and the numbers put in, and now I'm just doing the lines in the lightest color. I like to do this just so I can keep my lines straight. With it being a B5 journal, sometimes my lines can get a little wavy and I don't write in a super straight line, so I like to have these. Plus, I think it adds a little bit of color and brightness to the page itself, that's why I like to do this. I'm probably going to be drawing, not in this video, I didn't get to it, but now that I'm looking over it, I think I'm going to add some drawings of lemons in the top margin and in the bottom space underneath on this page, just to add a little bit more color to it. But I did a number every other line, and I went to 18 on the left page and 19 started on the right page, and it went to 31, obviously, just since it's an odd month. So that's my gratitude journal all done. And next, these are my weeklies. So I'm only going to show you one just because it's literally the same thing week after week. But I have been doing this layout for at least a year now, and this really works for me. Like I said in my first video, I also have a work planner. So this is enough space for me to work with personal stuff. So each of the boxes for the days are 9 boxes across and then 23 boxes long. And then I have two rows at the top and then 3 rows at the bottom. The top is where I put the date and the day, and then the bottom I put the weather and my mood for the day. And you will see later I'll draw in circles for the mood, and then I'll have more details down below. But this seems to work for me, and the two on the far right, so the ones at the top of the screen right now, those are my weekends. So my weekends are Friday and Saturday. I work Sunday through Thursday, which kind of works out well for my job, that the weeks are Sunday to Saturday, and then Sunday is also my Monday. So it kind of works out nice and neat. So that small box is a 2x2 square. That's where I put the date. And then the longer box on the top, that's where I write the day. The box on the left is a 3x5 box, and that is where I put the weather. And then the one on the right is a 3x4 box, and that's where I put my mood. The 2 boxes down below, on the left, I put my to-do list. That is just a general to-do list for the week, that I don't have a particular day that I'm going to want to accomplish that. And then the one on the right is a note. So anything that I need to remember or just need to jot down real quick, that's where I put that. And then on this box, or this page, I have those 2 smaller boxes, and the left box is a favorite memory. So just kind of like I do with my gratitude log, I pick something from the week that I really liked, and that's where I write that. And then in the right box is just an overview of my bills. I like to have as much detail as possible, write it in multiple different places so then I fully remember. And then the space underneath where my favorite memory and my bill overview is, the one underneath my favorite memories is my water tracker. I will put little circles in there that each equal 8 ounces, and then I track how much water I drink because I'm really bad at drinking water. And then the other one is my reading tracker, how many pages a day that I read. Typically my goal is 100 pages a day, so that's where I like to keep track. Right now I was doing a small calendar that is a full calendar of the month, and then I highlight the week that we're on just so I can kind of see better where we are in the month. And then that is my little circle stencil. I'm sorry. I got it from Michael's. I believe it's an Artist Lofts stencil, and I am using, let me check. I am using, it is the Artist Lofts stencil. I am using the 1730 seconds hole, so it's, or no, maybe it's the one half. And then for my water tracker, I am using the 9/64 circle. So those are the circles that I'm using. I do 8 across, because 8 times 8 is 64. I do know that much math. And then obviously 7 down, and that is my water tracker. All right, now that I'm all done with the circles, I'm going to erase all my pencils because it is time for my favorite part, adding color. So sometimes it changes each month or each week if I change the colors, like move, alternate them based off of the types of colors. That's what I did in February, where each week looked a little bit different, but I decided with the colors that we have this week, or that I have this week, I'm going to keep it the exact same each week, which is why I'm only showing you me doing the 1 week, because I didn't want to bore you guys with watching me do the same thing 5 times. So I'm adding my calligraphy March with my Tombow. Again, that is in 192. And then I believe I'm going to go in and do my shading. I think it just adds a lot of really nice depth, and it's easy to do. You just color until a certain point, and then you blend it with a lighter color. But it makes it look a lot better than just having that one color. So I will probably go back to my cover page and add that little bit of depth, because I did not do that. But doing it over these couple of pages, I've really, really liked the look of it. So I think I'm going to continue to do that. And there I am blending, blend, blend, blend. I'm going to highlight the days of the week and then what day it is, and there's me going back to February just to double check what the last day in the February spreads that I did, and then I'm going to start coloring in the top part of the weeks. I like to do it where if there is a majority of the week in 1 month, so like this one where there was only 3 days of this week in February and 4 of them are in March. This week goes to March. I think I was adjusting something on my iPad there, watching the documentary. But if it were 4 days in February and 3 days in March, then these days would be in on during the February spreads. But because most of the days of the week are in March, then I put them here just to kind of help even things out. So like I said, this is what every single week is going to look like in my planner, and at the end I will do a final flip through of everything. So don't worry, you'll be able to see all of the weeks. I just won't make you sit through watching me do them. So now I'm putting in the titles to the different boxes. So this one, like I said earlier, is my favorite memories. And I am using the calligraph. One of the things that I love about these pens is just like the Tombow, it has a broad and a fine tip side, but the fine tip side is like a calligraphy pen where it is a soft like brush pen instead of the Tombow pens that are the hard felt nib. So I really like doing the small calligraphy in it, but like I said, on the right side, the favorite memories, the bills, and then on the left side, the to-do and the notes, and then the hydrate, and then the read section where I just write down the number of pages I read that day, just to track, and then I can look back and see if I had a day that I really read a lot or a day that I didn't read as much. Again, going in with that lighter yellow just to put in some nice lines, just to add some more nice color to it, and then again to help me write straight, because I am not when I'm writing fast, I am not a neat writer. And I believe I'm going to go in and do the dates along the top and write in the days of the weeks, and then we are all done with this plan with me. And then the next thing up is my flip through. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or if you have anything you want to see, please let me know and I will show you. My next video, I was thinking about doing my reading log setup and kind of showing you how I do all of that. But yeah, that is how I draw out my new monthly spreads. And here is my flip through. So again, my front cover with the lemons. I think it is just so bright and cheerful. And that's one thing that I really wanted to do with my bullet journal this month, is it's been so gloomy that I wanted some bright funness. And as you can see, I added some lemons to the financial tracker. My gratitude is all done. I just think these colors also work really, really well together. And then here is my weeklies. I do like to do all of my weeklies for the month at once. That way I don't get overwhelmed and then have to go back and do them all. And that way I don't fall behind on planning. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much, and I hope you like and subscribe.